Hey guys, Chris the Ultimate Recycler. Wednesday seems the day that we get something out of the emergency storeroom to continue this long-running saga of unboxing and discovering and dealing with stuff. Let's go and have a look at what we're going to find today. I haven't planned anything today, but we've got to tackle probably one of these boxes just here, or maybe the milk crate up the top. There's a lot of tubs and boxes, and then there's a lot of small stuff shoved up amongst it, so we'll probably do some of that in a group lot, but we're not quite at that stage yet. Probably that yellow milk crate. We do have to deal with some of the stuff down the bottom here as well. There's a bit more scrap in that bucket. I'm going to scrap out these old fax machines very soon. I'll probably do a separate video on that. And this item, I've kind of been ignoring this a little bit, and I'll have to grab this soon because it's right in the doorway, and we'll have a chat about it. If anyone knows what it is, I know what it is, but yeah, you're welcome to have your guesses. And I've got to decide what I'm going to do with it. Anyway, today we shall get this yellow milk crate. I don't know what it is in it. I can see some sandpaper, obviously, that'll be like useful. That's some sort of electrical box, I think. This could be just some general hardware stuff out of my old shed at the shop. It's too heavy to get one-handed. I'll get it down and we'll take it to the bench and have a look. It wasn't too heavy, but I do have to be careful lifting high with my shoulder. It's feeling pretty good, but still got to be careful. Alright, we do have just general workshop stuff. It shouldn't take long. Let's have a look. Okay, this does look like it's out of my old shed at the shop. And general hardware, we're not going to get a lot of stuff to sell, because I put this in my shed years ago because it was useful workshop consumables. Obviously some tech screws there. There's assorted tech screws in that bucket. Probably come out of something I dismantled. I'm often looking for these fittings, so there's two of them in there. So these just really need organising in my shed so that I can find them when I need them. I'm all in favour of using up old tech screws and hardware, nails, screws. I get a lot of stuff out of people's sheds when I clean it up. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't seem to be that organised, and everything just seems to be a lucky dip. There's some good emery paper that will certainly be useful. More drill bits I have to sort out. I'm not sure what that suits. Special plug for something. It will be useful again. The drill bits are good. So I need to sort those ones out and put them with my drill bits. So a lot of this sort of stuff will just be getting my workshop organised. There's a antenna cable for something. I have a box of various antenna cables. I do plan on trying to restore some UHF radios, old CB radios, sideband, and I don't know what sort of cables I'm going to need for a lot of these, so I will store these for now. We have some good sized nails in there. They're a little rusty, but that's a good thing. If I'm restoring an old box, I don't want shiny new nails in it. They're excellent nails for restoring boxes, so I'll certainly use those as well. A box like this, I'm going to have trouble not saying that will be handy one day. Hydrochloric acid. I use that for various things. There's some good shelf brackets. This is a gooseneck light fitting. I will certainly use that. So I don't want to get rid of a lot of this stuff, because when I'm working in my shed and I'm creating and repurposing, you do need various pieces, including some little project boxes that is empty. It looks like it had some sort of switch, TV amplifier, don't know, but the box is still quite useful. Likewise, I think this big box we looked at was an electrical connection box. It's cast aluminium, but I reckon that will make an awesome project box for something. So I will certainly keep a stack of these here. And if I ever get too many, I can certainly take them to the shop or sell them. Or this one's even cast aluminium. It could go in the scrap, but I think that's too useful. There'll be a project in that for sure at some stage. Now, I've obviously found all these new sheets of sandpaper in a shed somewhere and thought they'll go home because I'll use those. There's some more tape emery, which is really handy for cleaning up round shafts and that sort of stuff, so that's again handy. A nice big brand new, never been used wood auger, and we have, looks like a sharpening stone. Yep, These are normally coarse on one side, fine on the other. Yeah, that's a fine. So a good stone there for honing knives and blades and things. Chisels, perhaps. It looks like a spring, but I think this is actually designed for bending copper pipe without it kinking. And I do have some other sizes of these somewhere. So again, when I'm fabricating stuff, and particularly later on when my workshop becomes fully functional, I am going to need a lot of this sort of stuff. There's some little coping saw blades. So I've got a box of those somewhere. So that empties the milk crate. There's nothing that we're going to sell out of here. It's just stuff that I want to keep because it will be useful. I've just got to find a spot to put it. I will try and gradually sort out shelving and whatnot as I go. And as we free up room in the other emergency storage room, there will be shelving become available out there too. So a lot of it will be duck shoved from one spot to another until it finds its permanent home. But this stuff I am going to keep. So let's get this bench cleaned up before we drag any more out. The milk crate itself I will use to put old transformers in, the big heavy transformers. The microwave one, I'm not sure what that one's out of, and a heavy ballast from a fluoro light. So there's over 6 kilos there in just 3 transformers. And I find the milk crates really good to stack them in because I can stack the milk crates that outside. They don't need to be under cover. They stack well. I'll put 30 kilos in each milk crate. So as the pile builds, I'll know exactly the quantity of electric motors I've got to sell to the scrapyard, and it gets them out of the shed. So that'll be good use for that. The other things, the project items, the 2 boxes I'll put in my other room. I've got an area where I keep project boxes. And this part will go with my lamps. Let's put the other hardware away. Emery paper and sandpaper I'm just putting in this cupboard for now. We will sort of rationalise that at some stage. I do have a spot for all my drill bits, so they're all in one place. And also steel brackets. Tech screws and nails go on this little shelf here. End screws, it's going to be a bit disorganised, but at least if everything ends up in one place, I'll be able to sort it and at least find things when I need to. I don't really have anywhere for my acids and things at the moment, but they can go in the cupboard of death with other chemicals and sprays that we don't want the kids or the pets to get. At least that's up out of the road for now. And the other stuff has been distributed accordingly. It is cluttering some parts of this shed because I'm not organised in here either. But at least, as I said, things are ending up in the same spot. So it will gradually help me get organised. So what else can we get out of here? Well, probably the next milk crate on that pile, because I think that's old photo albums. Now that's going to be of no real interest to you guys, although I might find a couple of interesting photos. Let's have a quick look. Who remembers real photos that you had to put in a book? Now, a lot of these are going to be family shots, of course, and I do need to find somewhere better for them than here. There could be some pretty cool stuff to show you. Like cars. How's this? The first car I purchased, a 1969 HT Holden, 253 V8, and oh, there's an old Falcon Ute. Geez, I wish I still had these cars now. And the first car I actually drove was, when I had my license, was a 63 VW Beetle, a 1300 Deluxe. Those were the days, but I loved that Holden. It was a great car to drive. So there you go. And the start of my mechanics days, I completely rebuilt a 253 V8. Enjoyed doing that. Anyway, memories. We won't bother. Oh, okay. A car accident I was once involved in. HQ Holden. They roll pretty well through fences and into paddocks. I wasn't the driver. All right, enough of the photographic memories. We've got 2 boxes out of this storeroom today. The obligation I have was only 1 box a week. But they've been pretty quick. So let's just sort out a couple of loose things. I won't do another box today, but let's get rid of these old power boards. I've kept them when I was doing a lot of scrapping at the shop. And I did start a Decker scrap series at one stage, and that was, the plan there was scrapping 10 of something to see how viable it was. So I have a whole crate full of them there. We will scrap them out at some stage soon. I'll just leave them with the crate. Not sure what the dogs are barking at. A couple of loose things here we have. I don't know what's in this. It looks like a air filter, oil filter. Wonder what it suits. I'm presuming it's new. It's come out of someone's shed. I might just check eBay on that one. And hanging up here, it looks like there's a large square. Now, I already have one of these in the shed that I use, so we might just clean this one up for sale. And one other thing up here is a little tin can, if I can reach it, with a broom head in. So the broom heads I use when I'm washing stuff up with a hose, so that will be a handy one. So that can go over near the hose, I'll use that. And this looks like an old billy, minus the lid. And if you remember back a few videos, I found a whole tub full of billy lids. So I'll take that to the shop, see if I can match up a lid for it, and we'll get $10 for that. Even though it's a little rusty, it will still sell. So we've made some good improvement this week, and we're getting up to some interesting things. I can see, looks like an old boom box. I'm not sure what's in that plastic tub. There's some electronic items there. That looks like the bottom of a PC and a CRT television. So yeah, it's going to get interesting. We also, probably next week, we might do one of these tubs at the front here. Old tools, rusty things, probably more stock for the shop, and maybe a few restorations, who knows. And then there's a box of maybe paperwork. It keeps getting interesting. I'm really enjoying this. Maybe the next video we'll do a scrap out on these two items. So let me know what you'd like to see next. I'm happy to be guided by your wants and desires. I've checked out the Clark oil filter, and I think it suits a Bobcat, which is a skid steer loader. This is clearly brand new, wrapped in plastic still. You can buy them online for about $20–25 with free shipping, I think. So we might only put, we might put $10 on that. I guess if someone wants it, $10 is nothing. If they don't really want it, it doesn't matter if it's $1, they won't take it. So we'll go $10 on that. I cleaned up this square. It's actually a Stanley. If we have a bit of a look here, USA made Stanley. I think it's known as a framing square, and it cleaned up really well. I just ran over it. Well, I put it over the wire buffer wheel for a bit, but it was getting a bit hairy because every now and again it grabs the wheel and it flings around a bit. So I thought that wasn't the safest practice. So I just used a sanding block, and it cleaned it up really well. It highlights the letters. And then I just smeared a bit of paste wax over it, and it actually looks great. There's one little bit of more heavier rust there, but the rest of it's fine. Both sides. So I reckon we'll have no troubles getting $20 for that in the shop. So that's good. So we'll leave this video here, guys. More stuff out of the emergency storage shed. I forget what part number this is. I think it's part 8. We've got a few things to sell, so 20, 30, if we can find a lid for this, maybe $40 worth of stuff. I've found some hardware and stuff for my shed. We've processed some photo albums, found some memories, so I'll sort those out. Yeah, so pretty happy with that little adventure. We've got more clean outs going on at the moment, more repair jobs, more restorations. It's all happening. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Bye for now.